10 years? What? Hi everybody, my name is Steven George, and I have made a lot of videos. And today we are celebrating 10 years of videos here on StevenPlays. Now, in the past, I've put out annual videos looking back at the previous year and mostly talking about stats, different things that happened over the course of that year. But this time I thought it would be much more special to look back at the last decade, because it was 10 years today that StevenPlays was created. So I thought it might be fun to look back at every single project that we brought to you over the past 10 years. Now, this is not necessarily an exhaustive list, but it's close. And I want you to know ahead of time that all the dates are based on the content's debut. So for streamed content, that means the day of the initial stream, not the YouTube release. Are you ready to travel back in time with me? All right, let's get started. I made this channel on February 7th, 2011, but there was 12 more days before I would release the very first project, Portal. That was February 19th. That's when things got started. From there, a very short project, I moved into Half-Life 2, which was one of my favorite games of all time. Wanted to show that off. Then I started doing Left 4 Dead 2. Did quite a few maps of that with some of my roommates. It was a lot of fun. And then I thought that I was ready. I was ready to show off my favorite game of all time, Earthbound, which I did actually on Mother 3's anniversary, April 20th. The next day, I started Minecraft, which was a very fun Let's Play that we really enjoyed. Mal would later join on for that. A few months later, in July, I released Amnesia: The Dark Descent. That was the first horror game that we had ever done, as long as you're not counting Left 4 Dead, and also the first time that I employed Facecam into the channel. From there, we did Portal 2, both single player and co-op. Mal joined me for co-commentary on single player, and then me and her did co-op together. Shortly after that, September, we released our first memorable moment. And we went with the most memorable moment that we had at the time, which was the death of Sammy 3.0. Now that was back in September 2011. There are now over 1,600 memorable moments. It's been around for a while. From there, a few days later, we jumped into the continuation of Half-Life 2 with Half-Life 2 Episode 1. And then we got started on Donkey Kong Country, childhood favorite of mine, and what would be the first in a long-running series of Donkey Kong Country games. Then, just a week later, I introduced the first ever Demo Fridays, with Sonic Generations being the first episode. That ended up releasing a total of 99 episodes, and there would probably be more, but for the most part, demos have gone the way of the dinosaur. Ultimately, largely being replaced with First 20, but we'll get to that soon enough. From there, the very next day, started Half-Life 2 Episode 2, and then a game that some of you may know, Skyrim. That was 11/11/11. Halo Anniversary just 5 days after that, and then as we went into the new year, I decided to show off how much I enjoyed Magic with Magic Duels of the Planeswalkers. Then Mal and I jumped into Kirby Superstar, childhood favorite of mine, and I took on Shadow of the Colossus a month after that. There was a game that was really incredible. I wanted to share the experience. I also released a few bonus videos with that people seem to really enjoy. Then, it's been a few months since we had tried out Sonic Generations for a demo, but we did a full Let's Play. It's an old one now, but it's a fun one where I actually play the 3D levels and Mal plays the 2D levels, and we kind of have a little competition. Then we started doing Minecraft custom maps. We started with It's Better Together in April 2012, and then I moved into Uncharted, the first of, well, several Uncharted games. Gears of War a few days after that, and then, it's kind of strange that the titles are so similar, God of War a month later. We decided to do another Minecraft map, this time Monarch of Madness, and then Little Big Planet 2. which Mao and I had a whole lot of fun with. And then a project that I hadn't really done anything close to before, Pokemon Leaf Green, which was in many aspects almost a parody of my good friend Emil's Let's Plays. In fact, it features him in the very opening narration, which is fun. We come back to Donkey Kong Country 2, just a few short weeks after that. And then we did our first ever Extra Life event. This was October 20th, 2012. We decided to play Earthbound, and we raised $1,282. We have done Extra Life every single year since then, with our most recent event last October being the biggest one. And to date, for our local children's hospital, you all have helped raise over $313,000. But it all started back in October 2012. Then we did another Minecraft custom map, this time The Tourist, a little short one. And then I introduced First 20. First 20 was Far Cry 3. That was November 2012. We have now made 364 First 20 videos. So went a little bit longer than Demo Fridays. Then we decided to do Smash Brothers Brawl because I really wanted to show off Subspace Emissary, although Mal and I also did, I think, basically every other mode. And then a fan favorite, as we went into 2013, Zelda Twilight Princess. That's a series that people still reference today, so I'm glad that it's had so much longevity. Finally got back around to the Uncharted series with Uncharted 2, and then just a few months after that, I started Assassin's Creed. I didn't know that I'd be playing so many Assassin's Creed games, but this was the very first one. Did another Minecraft custom map, Mystery of the Pumpkin Castle, and then the very next day, I started The Last of Us, which is a game I really enjoyed. The month after that, we started kind of a weird series, Mario Kart, which encompassed most of the home console releases, starting with Mario Kart 64, Double Dash Wii, and eventually, when it finally released, we also played Mario Kart 8. Grand Theft Auto 5 was a month after that. I remember wanting to hold off, but I just couldn't. I wanted to play the game so badly. So on October 23rd, I started that project, and it was only a few weeks later that we started GTA Online, which has continued despite the fact that it's been many, many years, and now that playlist has over 40 hours of content. We released stuff even just a few weeks ago, and we have more plans to release even more GTA Online content in the very near future. Then kind of a strange one, we did a little mini-series called Sister Seg Adventure. When Mal's sister, Carly, was visiting, we decided to look back at some of the Genesis games that they played in childhood, so they actually played, and I provided co-commentary with them, and there's actually 6 full Let's Plays in that playlist, including an entire playthrough of Sonic 2. So if you didn't know about that, it's worth catching. It's pretty cool. We returned to Donkey Kong Country, this time with the 3rd game in the series. And then we launched something that was truly special. There was a fan server back in the day that was known as StevenCraft, completely unofficial. We called it officially unofficial. And it was just run by the community. And we started doing a monthly video series looking at different builds on the server. Sometimes we would do like multiplayer games and stuff on the server. So we were actually doing a monthly series, and we did that for an entire year. So there's 12 videos, and they're actually really cool. We returned to The Last of Us with the Left Behind DLC. It's a standalone DLC, so I gave it its own entry. Battle Block Theater, which was super fun. That's another one that people still watch today and they really love. Steven and Friends got started a week after that. It's interesting because a lot of people think that Steven and Friends maybe came before GTA Online, but no, GTA Online was the original Steven and Friends. But now there have been over 200 videos for Steven and Friends, and we still release a new one every single week, every Saturday. Uncharted 3 was next, a few weeks after that. And then Mao and I jumped into Resident Evil 5, along with the DLCs, Lost in Nightmares and Desperate Escape, because we just really needed a lot of elbow drop in our life. Assassin's Creed 2, returning to the Assassin's Creed series and starting the Ezio trilogy. And then something that was really special to me. In July 2014, I did Mother 1. It was a game that I had never completed before. I had beaten Earthbound several times, I had beaten Mother 3 several times, but I had really been holding off playing Mother because I knew that once I played it, there wouldn't be any more Mother games to play. But I decided to record my experiences, and now that's a time capsule online, which is nice. And then I started another fan favorite, The Sims. People really enjoyed The Sims and have been patiently waiting for a return. It's not canceled. I hope to get back around to that as soon as I can. Amnesia, a machine for pigs, because I needed to play more scary games and just about pee myself from scary fish in the water. We come back to the Donkey Kong Country series for DKC Returns. And then, another childhood favorite of mine, Kirby's Dream Course. We covered the story, and then I brought Mao on for a Versus mode in November 2014. 2 days later, Far Cry 4. I had actually worked with Ubisoft to promote the game. They had flown me out there to try it, and I didn't have to play the game for the channel, but I enjoyed what I played so much, I was like, I really want to play this game. And I did. It was also a really interesting playthrough because the game glitched, and I wound up with infinite throwables. And yes, I abused that to hell and back throughout the entire Let's Play. Super Smash Bros. For Wii U! Finally got an HD release of Smash Bros. And Mal and I did Co-op Classic for the entire roster, as well as some extra modes. Little Big Planet 3 released, so Mal and I jumped back into Sackboy's adventure there. And then another Assassin's Creed game, Brotherhood, as well as the Da Vinci DLC. A tiny little project, but Josh and I covered Metal Slug in a very sleep-deprived state. And then a week later, Mao and I did Halo 2 Anniversary, since we had already done the first game. And then, May, I decided to start releasing what would be a recurring series from time to time, IRL Miniature Golf. Basically, anytime we had friends in town, I would actually film us doing miniature golf, since we probably have more miniature golf courses in Myrtle Beach than anywhere else on Earth. And we decided to post them up onto StevenPlays. And there's actually quite a few at this point, so they're a pretty fun watch. And then, in June, Pikmin. Little did we know that that little game would lead to so much trauma. But fun trauma. Fama? It's probably a word for that. Jumped back into a custom map, this time with Josh, when we did Minecraft the Code. And then we really wanted to try out To the Moon, because we had heard so many good things about it, so we played To the Moon, and then also the Sigmund Minisode DLCs that July. Great game. So we moved right into the next part of it with A Bird Story the next month. I had promised people for years that I would play BioShock, and it wasn't until September 2015 that it came to the channel, but I finally did it. I also used this opportunity to come back to more Magic content, started playing Magic Duels, and eventually all of the DLC that followed it. The DLC came out for that for quite a while. And then, September 2015, Mario Maker released, and I decided I'd start this little project called Morning Mario, where, like, I don't know, I'd play a few levels every week. Probably wouldn't do that for very long, right? Maybe. Also, and this is interesting, the exact same day as Morning Mario debuted, so did Chulip, which has also been a fan favorite over the years. Also one of the only complete Let's Plays on YouTube, where we cover 100% of the game, and what a wild game it is. And then the next in this list is Fallout 4, a game that, well, it took a while. Let's just say it took a while. Really proud of it, though. Then we jump into the next year, 2016, a game that I honestly sometimes forget that we've covered just because it was so short and we did it so quickly, Dragon Ball Advanced Adventure. Yeah, there's a Dragon Ball game on the channel. A few days later, we covered Journey, which is absolutely beautiful, inspired Mal's paintings, which were getting started around that time, because 2016 was when Mal Makes began. Assassin's Creed Revelations was next, wrapping up the Ezio trilogy. And then we started a game called The Walking Dead, Season 1. There's going to be more Walking Dead on this list. Uncharted 4 finally came to the channel that June, and then the next month we saw Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. the last Donkey Kong Country on this list, and also the most recent entry. And I'm crossing my fingers that there's another Donkey Kong Country on the way at some point in the future. Then I decided to join the Runaway Guys for Zelda Four Swords Adventure over on their channel in July. Then The Walking Dead Season 2. Limbo came to the channel in November. We picked up an NES Classic and we decided to cover the games on it every day in the month of December 2016, so that was a fun little series. After we finished Limbo, we went to Inside, because we had to know what happened next. There was a little mini-series for The Walking Dead called Michonne, which was fun. And then finally, we got to Halo 3 on the very last day of 2016. And this is notable also because this was Dan's editing debut. He had been editing Memorable Moments for some time, and he had worked a little bit on some of the GTA Onlines before that. But this was the first time that he started editing stuff on StevenPlays, and more or less from here on out, he edits basically every series. After Halo 3, we did Firewatch, which was a short one, but a really unique and really fun one. Then, finally, since it had been so many years since we covered Twilight Princess, we returned to the Zelda series with Ocarina of Time. It was an interesting adventure. We returned to Halo 3 with ODST to try and wrap that up. I'd never played it before and I wanted to see it. And then, a few weeks later, we invited Alex and Haley to join us for Super Mario 3D World, or as we affectionately called it, Cat World. And then the trauma really began. Pikmin 2 was April 2017, and there was actually quite a few episodes of that, so it was on the channel for a while. We did a very short game, but very calming game. Still recommend it today, Abzu, in July. And a few weeks later, we got to Season 3 of Walking Dead. The last Uncharted game I've played, Uncharted Lost Legacy, was a few months later in September. And then we did a game that I highly recommend you watch if you haven't, and that is Until Dawn. It's a horror game, but we make light of it the whole time to keep the mood a little bit lighter, and it's fun. I recommend it. Mal's in that one. Then we got the Super NES Classic, so we decided to do a series on that. Did a little different because we released them weekly, but they started in October. And then I decided to do Outlaws. I was craving a cowboy adventure, and I had never beaten this game from my childhood, so I decided to play all the levels. I finally beat something that drove me crazy as a kid. Mao had never experienced all of Super Mario 64, so the next year in 2018, we played Super Mario 64. Assassin's Creed 3 came a few weeks after that. Finding Paradise, the continuation of Kangal's To the Moon series, was after that. And then we finally got to play Kirby Star Allies, which was exciting because I hadn't touched a Kirby game in quite a few years, and I was super excited for all of the nostalgia in it. I got around to covering Bioshock 2, as well as the Minerva's Den DLC in June. And then a few weeks later we did Unfinished Swan, and immediately went into their next game, which is What Remains of Edith Finch. Both of those are wonderful, but if you get motion sick, be careful on Unfinished Swan. Resident Evil 6 started in October. We played through all of that, and that was a good time. And then the game that I'd been really looking forward to, Red Dead Redemption 2, which, if you're not aware, is a prequel to Red Dead Redemption 1, so you don't need to experience the first game to watch that. Then, Smash Ultimate came out. We were super excited, and we started covering World of Light in December 2018, whenever the game debuted. There was some stuff on the channel for a while, so the next new release wasn't until May, where we did Mario Party, and we actually changed up the guests for every single board. It's a really cool watch if you've never seen it. That June, the final season of Walking Dead came out, winding up Clementine's story. Then I joined the Runaway Guys again a week later for Kirby and the Amazing Mirror, which is a really good time. In July, Super Mario Maker 2 debuted, so I was able to continue doing Morning Mario, because the first run had 800 episodes, and now we're basically on Season 2, if you want to call it that. We started doing some streams, so we did Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons, which is a really cool game I got to play with Mal, and that was in August, as well as Paratopic and A Short Hike. Short Hike is incredible. I highly recommend that. Zelda, Link's Awakening came to the channel, or we started recording it in September. We did something very unique where Mal was playing the new version for the Switch while I was playing the Game Boy Color version and following along. It's kind of an interesting idea, and it also allowed us to see the differences between the games. There were a lot of similarities, obviously, but there were actually some differences, both in the overworld and to the text itself. It was kind of cool to spot those. We also did Super Mario Sunshine, since we had previously done Super Mario 64. And since people will ask, yes, at some point we hope to get to Galaxy. We played through a game called The Shape-Shifting Detective, which was a really interesting FMV game. FMV normally is synonymous with bad, but this one was actually quite good. We did a stream of Untitled Goose Game. If you didn't know that Mount and I had played that, you have to check that out sometime. And we also did a stream of Arise: A Simple Story, which is an absolutely gorgeous game. I finally get around to playing more Bioshock with Infinite and the Burial at Sea DLC in late 2019. And then we finished off the year with a playthrough of Minute. Early next year, I played Donut County, and Mao and I did co-op of Octodad, which is stupendous, where we're each controlling different limbs, and I think it keeps changing every time we go through a doorway or something. Yoshi's Island was also a game that we streamed and then later came out on YouTube. We streamed that in early January. In February, we started working on Co-op Classic. World of Light was finally done. It was time to start working on all of the fighters, especially since DLC was starting to release. We also recorded another, let's say, co-op Let's Play of Katamari Damacy Reroll for Switch, where Mao is holding one stick and I'm holding another stick, and we tried to make it work. Highly recommend that if you've never seen it. We also started posting Animal Crossing New Horizons content on the day of release, which was actually my birthday, March 20th. And since then, we've made quite a few videos going to different friends' towns and also revisiting those towns to do different activities and celebrate different holidays. We have plans to continue making that content in 2021. Super Mario RPG was recorded in April 2020. It was fun because Mao and I played that together about 10 years ago and finally got a chance to revisit it. And then we started doing Zelda Breath of the Wild. Finally, 3 years after it came out, we stayed spoiler-free for 3 years, and we started streaming that in June 2020. It's still being streamed, and it's still being released on YouTube because it's such a long game. And then whenever Pikmin 3 Deluxe came out in late October, we decided that we were going to return to the Pikmin series after having held out in hopes that Nintendo would release a Switch version. That's all the projects we've done. It's a lot. And I didn't even mention things like Dungeons and Dragons, You're in the Movies, none of the Reacts videos that we've done, like to the Nintendo Directs or other things, April Fool's Day videos, whatever the heck Egg Collect qualifies as, etc. I also have a few special thanks here that I want to mention. First off, special thanks to Emil, because he was my gateway into Let's Plays in the first place. I can still remember him asking me for advice on his videos and not really understanding what he was doing, but not long after I was doing them myself, so I sincerely appreciate him showing me what they were. And then also, he was a huge help because he helped get the word out about the channel in the early days, which absolutely beyond a shadow of a doubt made a difference in our growth and the trajectory of the channel. So thank you, friend. I appreciate it, Emil. Also, a thank you to everyone who has appeared on the channel over the years, from my roommates playing Left 4 Dead back in the day, all the way up to Alex and Haley joining us for Cat World, and then everyone in between. And then thank you also to the Runaway guys for allowing me to join them for 2 different projects, and also a handful of the tournaments they've done at PAX. And happy 10 years to them as well. Also a special thank you to anyone who has ever appeared on Steven and Friends. I have had the pleasure of knowing an amazing group of hilarious people who routinely go with my wild ideas. And they go out of their way to create comedy every Saturday, and they don't have to. So I'll just never be able to explain how much I appreciate them. To Chaz and to our mod team for ensuring that all of the live streams go smoothly, and also that the Twitch audience enjoys the live experience just as much as the YouTube audience. Huge thank you to Dan, who has been the sole editor on StevenPlays since 2017. You know, not only do you keep things running around here, but you add so much additional value by inserting yourself into the projects. The audience loves you, and they love to see, you know, where your comments and edits are going to pop up. So Dan is absolutely a integral part of the channel. Mallory, you're my rock. But also, you're a key component to the success of this channel. StevenPlays would not be the same without your involvement, and everybody knows that. Thank you for allowing me to pursue this. Thank you for being a huge part of it, and I love you. And finally, the audience, that's all of you. To everyone who has ever watched a video, tuned in for a stream, donated to Extra Life, supported us on Patreon, or told a friend about our channel, thank you. There's not many YouTube channels that have been around for 10 years, but we're still here because you love watching. And we've made a lot of great memories. I would like to hear your favorite StevenPlays memory. So share your favorite LP or memorable moment or story or whatever on social media with the hashtag StevenPlays10, so that everyone will be able to see everyone else's. And then when you're done there, leave a comment on this video with what game you would like to see on the channel or back on the channel. Thanks again. And I can't wait to see what the next 10 years will bring.